All right, good morning, everyone. No. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right, much better. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. It's a pleasure to have all of you here. This is a special Sunday. It's the fifth Sunday of the month, and as we have been doing since the beginning of this calendar year, we have 3 lectures in one. So it's a 15 minutes lecture, and today we will continue talking about the gospel according. We continue talking about Emmanuel and Chico Xavier, and today the TSS talk is about the gospel according to Emmanuel, and we have our friends Michele, Tiago, and Marcos talking today. Okay, so let's get started. As usual, we're gonna do a quick reading and then a pray with Juliana.
Good morning, all. Today the message is from Happy Life. The greatest lesson is love. Without it, objectives lose their purpose, leaving the individual at the mercy of his inferior passion. Love dilutes the shadows of negative feelings, impressing the seal of gentleness of all actions. So love all and everything. Practice love in nature, splendid with its sun, air, trees, flowers, fruits, animals, and human beings. Let yourself be moved by the silent invitations that the Father Creator makes to you and spread your emotions over everything. Sweeten yourself inwardly. The more you love, the less you'll be susceptible to the bars of evil, because your increased understanding will open your spaces to life, and you will reap only the effects of peace. So let everybody close your eyes and connect through the thought with our Master. At this moment, we thank you, Lord. We thank you, Jesus. We thank all the good spirits who join us at this time. And we ask you for your blessing. We ask you to bless all the speakers, so then together we can learn and keep you on the path of love and charity. Be always with us. So be it.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Like Marcio said, today is the last Sunday of August, and this month general theme is Emmanuel. So Tiago, Michele, and I, we decide to close the month with a quick talk about the gospel, right? But according to Emmanuel. And of course, it's impossible to resume all the Emmanuel's teachings and all his messages in a 45-minute lecture. So we decide to concentrate our focus today in one phrase on the greatest commandment of all. Oops. Sorry. So in Matthew chapter 22, verses 36 to 40, and also in Mark chapter 12, verses 28 to 31, Jesus was asked, which is the greatest commandment in the law? And he replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these 2 commandments. So with Emmanuel's help, we're going to talk about love your neighbor as yourself. So I'm going to talk about the book Taça de Luz. Unfortunately, it is not translated to English yet, but it will be something like a a light cup or a cup of light, right? And I'm going to talk about this chapter 12, Before the Neighbor. And then Michelle is going to talk about the book O Consolador, the Consoler, I believe. Third part, chapter 3, Love, questions 351. This book is also not translated to English yet, right? And Tiago is going to finish with the book The Way and the True and the Life, chapter 41. This one is available in your library. It is in English, right? And it's also going to talk about the book Opinião Espírita, Spirit Opinion, right? But unfortunately, this one is not translated to English yet, right? So Tiago is going to close with a golden key, or actually a golden rule. So, on the book Taça de Luz, chapter 12, entitled Before the Neighbor, Emmanuel said, your neighbor in every minute, every second, is the heart closest to ours. The heart closest to ours by divine suggestion in the path of the life. So what that means is God, divine suggestion, put then the neighbors close to us. And you're still confused, right? So you think what that means. And then Emmanuel tried to explain to us. Who is my neighbor? That's what he's trying to ask. Because everybody start thinking now, you probably guys are thinking right now, who is my neighbor? How do I do this? And Emmanuel explained that. Our neighbor at home is the wife, the husband, the parents, the children, the relatives, the guests if you have some. In the workplace, Emmanuel say, is your boss, is the boss, is your subordinate, is your co-worker. In the public space, is the brother, is the anonymous friend who share with you, share with us, like the same road, the same atmosphere. In the social sphere is the child, the neighbor is the sick, the desperate, the sad one, the affections and the bonds of common solidarity. And in the sketching struggle of the human effort, the neighbor is the opponent, and also the collaborator is the declared or hidden enemy. So, resuming this thing here is Emmanuel saying the neighbor is everywhere. Everywhere you find the neighbor looking for your ability, our ability to understand and help them. And Emmanuel gives us a tip, a hint, right? Assist them with the best you possess. With the best you possess. Why Emmanuel saying the best you possess? He explained that in the same chapter. Angels and heroes, they don't live on earth yet. Right? We are humans. We are imperfect. Right? We are spirits made of part of light and part of shadow. Most of the time, more shadow than light. At least I can tell myself, right? In my case. Right? So, sometimes have love, and other times selfishness. In one part, intelligence. In the other part, ignorance. Each man, each woman, each one of us, in our level of evolution, we bring a halo of a king but also bring a sword of a tyrant. Sometimes I'm very educated, gentle with everybody around me. Sometimes I'm so rude. I treat them so bad. Right? It's this. We are not pure spirits yet. So that's why he's saying, assist them with the best you possess right now. So don't wait until you become a pure spiritist and now I'm ready now I'm ready to start helping everybody. And he finalized that saying that's why Jesus reaffirmed the old teaching. Love your neighbor as yourself. The original Hebrew words, V'ahavta l'rasha kamoha, which most often translated to love your neighbor as yourself, right, should be really translated to love your brother, love your companion. Because the Hebrew word lehasha, right, it's not translated properly. The neighbor in Hebrew is sahem, right? Lehaha, it's the best translation. It's a close companion, right? And sometimes it's used like your spouse or a brother, right? That's why I think the most perfect translation is love your brother, right? Not love your neighbor. But anyway, Jews were commanded to respect all beings and not harm anyone. But at Jesus' time, there's two different interpretations of that, right? The majority believe the love your neighbor does not apply to non-Jews. And the minority believe that should apply to all God's creations, despite of their nation, their faith, skin color, etc., etc., etc. So to clarify that to them and for us too, Jesus taught us the parable of Good Samaritan. And answer a lawyer that asked him the exactly same question. Who is my neighbor? Right? Of course, I'm going to pass very quickly in this parable here because of lack of time, but this is just for someone that does not know this parable, right? A man doesn't say if it was Jew or a Samaritan. A unknown man, was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho, and the road was deserted, and he was attacked by robbers. They beat him severely. They stole his money and took all his clothes, and they abandoned him half dead. It was a long while before anyone passed by the road, and the first one who come by was a priest. He saw the wounded man. He was on the ground, but passed by him without helping. A Levite who passed by there later behaved the same manner. So just to explain, a Levite was like a priest's helpers, right? So they used to help the priests on the temples. So a Samaritan came by the road, and when the Samaritan saw the man, he helped him. The Samaritan put him in his donkey and brought him to an inn. The next day, the Samaritan paid the innkeeper and told him to take care of the man until he came back. And he said if there are any other expense, then on his return, he will pay him the costs. Right? And finishing the parable, Jesus turned back to the lawyer that asked him the question, right? So, and asked him, who do you think those three, the priest, the Levite, And the Samaritan was the neighbor or brother of the unfortunate man. So the lawyer asked Jesus, "Who is my neighbor?" And Jesus returned that question with another question. Who is the neighbor of the unfortunate man? See the difference? The neighbor, my neighbor, I am choosing. Right? Jesus using another perspective. He's using the perspective of the wounded man. Neighbor or brother is not what you are, what we are. Neighbor or brother is what we turn to be. So my neighbor, I'm choosing. It's a selective love, right? So I give good morning to whom say good morning back to me. If you are in my group, right, like the Jews taught on that time, good. If you're not in my group, I don't care about you. So Jesus asked the lawyer, who become the neighbor? Who become the neighbor? It's a proactive vision, right? It become the neighbor of people. We should not ask, who is my neighbor? So, what the lawyer answered? Well, remember, the lawyer was a Jew, right? And Jew and Samaritans are enemies. They don't like each other. So, the lawyer could say, Samaritan. Huh? Samaritan. But he didn't say that, right? He was smart. The problem is the lawyer was only smart. And he answered, the one that treated him with mercy. So the one that treat the unfortunate man, the wounded man with mercy. So he learned the lesson. Jesus said, now go and do the same, right? And he probably must be looking down with sadness because today, after 2,000 years, the majority of us still not learned that lesson yet. The poor, the homeless, the unattractive, the handicapped, the mentally ill, and countless other groups are still sometimes victims of hatred and discrimination from us. And so, since we did not learn with Jesus yet, Emmanuel, with his great message, is trying to explain us that everybody we will find the neighbor, right? Everywhere, looking for our ability to understand and help. We must treat everybody with mercy, like the Samaritan did. We must become the neighbor of all mankind. Michelle?
Thank you, Marco. Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So, continue our lecture today. I think I took the most easy part. Love ourselves. I think it's easy. Very simple. And we ask the same our friend Marco brought to us, how to love our neighbors. But it is possible to love our neighbors without love ourselves first? What do you think? Why? Good, Anna. And what are we doing to love ourselves according to Jesus' teaching? What are we doing? No answer? I think most of us think, oh, I eat health food. I go to the gym every 5 times a week. So I just take a shower every day. I clean myself every day, external every day. But is this enough? Care our physical body. It's enough? No. This is obligation, right?
We need to care our physical body because this is a God gift to us. But what we need to put in our mind we need to have the balance. We need to care our physical body, but we need to care our internal. It's a spiritual, right? Remember the scale, not too high, not too down. So give the balance, right? And sometimes we just care our physical body a lot, and we still not happy, right? We still unhappy. Why this happen? Just because sometimes we turn obsession caring our external body and forgot to care our internal spirit, and this is turned obsession to us. And we always want to compare to the people in the magazine we watch we see in the magazine or watch in TV, right? Oh, I want to be the Gisele Bündchen, or I want to be the Brad Pitt, right? But we forgot they have sometimes, especially the magazines, they have a Photoshop, right? It's impossible to be like them sometimes. And sometimes we spend a lot of money doing a surgical procedure, and it never is enough. Because where is the problem? Inside us, right? It's inside us. And what is the consequence when we not love ourselves? What is the consequence? Who can answer? Become unhappy and start what? Depression. And most of the time commit suicides. Indirect or direct, right? And the other very common problem, it's people wants to be the number one at work or at the Spirit Center, right? I need to be the first on everything. So we start to suffer, right? Because everything we do, it's not enough for us. And we start to, to be in front of our struggles, inside struggles, right? We stood hard, we work hard, and never is enough, right? So this is give us a serious problem, internal problem. And because we can compare like a kid at school is not the popular kid at school, right? They start to freak, and the common word for the kids, I start to freak out, right? Crying, and say, no, I can't come back to the school because nobody else accepts me. I need to be, or nobody else wants to do the same I propose to them, right? It's us sometimes. All of us, we have that. And why we have that? Pride. Just because the pride, right? And we start to hate ourselves. I'm not good enough. I'm not this and that. I can't go to this Spirit Center because nobody else think like me. I can't come back to the work because nobody else wants to do this what I want to do, right? And start to hate ourselves. This brings us a serious consequence, but same what I said, depression, and most of the time suicide. We need to start to appreciate our body. We need to start to appreciate who we are. Love who we are. Because the same we said, this is a gift from God. We're not here just for, passeio in English? Vacation. Oh, thank you. We're not here for vacation, right? We are here for improve ourselves, right? And we need to do our auto-education, self-awareness. Be attention what we think, we really want. And how can we love ourselves exactly the point we are now? How I can start to love myself if I have some kind of start? How I can do that? On the book Consoler, the chapter 350, the question 351, bring this to us. We need to self-enlightenment. We need personal effort, education of self, faith. Most of the time, we do all these things, but we don't have faith. And 24 hours, I love myself. I'm already. But on the next day, I start everything again. Why? Because we don't have faith in ourselves. I can do it. I can change. If I really want to do, I can do it. This is called faith, right? Persevere on work. Don't give up on the first struggle you have, on the first deception you have. It's very common we have deception from the close ones, right? And they start, I can't go to this group anymore because nobody else loves me. Why? Start to think about why and change. No, I'm not give up because I need. I'm not doing that because Tiago. No, I'm doing that for myself. So don't give up. Any situation you have, don't give up. Move on. For more difficult is for us. We need to put our head up and move on. Jesus, it's beside us. Okay? So move on. Inner transformation. Do your inner transformation each day. The same our friend Marco said. We need to love our neighbor. But how I can love my neighbors if I have in mind, for example, the racism. How? No, I don't have until somebody else knocking our door and say, oops, no, I can't attend this person today. Right? So we need to work internal. We need to study how to do that. Right? It's not easy. It's not that easy. But if you start to do a little every single day, we can change inside us. Not 100% because we're not perfect. We're the same. We are humans. Right? But we can try. We need to try. We need to look at the mirror and say, I love myself. Not external. I love inside. Who I am. Am I? Yeah. Sorry, guys. So we need to love ourselves. We need to. I sometimes I can't handle a no. A word no. Why? Right? Try. Come back to home and ask yourself why. Because that. Okay. Do a note and work on these notes every day. In couple months, you are able to start to handle the word no, for example. This is a simple example. You need to work every day. It's a hard work for us. And who is brought this beautiful message for us to work this every day? It's St. Augustine. He said, self-knowledge is terrible, the key to individual improvement. He said to us, come back home and do your imperfection. Putting the paper. Nobody else goes to see that. Just you. Just me. I go to put in Michelle, you need to work on that. The moment you say, no, I don't want to work on that, some kind of problem you have. It's you put a highlight on the special in this word and say, oh, forget about the other. This I need to start first. No, I'm not selfish. No, I'm very, very kind person. Are you sure? At home. Are you sure you're very kind? Oops, no. Okay, put a highlight on this one here. It's that you need to work first. So it's a hard work for each of us. Everyone. Nobody else is perfect. Nobody else is Jesus. If you are, we not need to reincarnate. We not need to be here to learn with each other. Right? And based on that, how I said, we need to have the balance, right? Don't go at home today and say, yeah, I'm free. I don't need, Michelle said, I don't need to carry my body anymore. I just need to work on inside me. So you'll be in trouble, right? The same as said, we need to carry our physical body too, all right? Because we can't, we are commit suicide if you not care our body, okay? So don't go outside and say, I don't need that because Michelle said. No, we need the balance. We need both, please. And when we start to accept who you are, the same, it's easy. We can move on our struggles. We can true love ourselves and true help our neighbors. We really can do that without suffer any consequence, not from my neighbor, from myself, right? And we close with the chapter 40 on the way, the truth, and life. The lessons called A Time for Trust. Who doesn't have this book? Please, it's amazing. More obstacles will appear. Oh, not discipline as disciple. Until the disciples learns how to serenely control. Who is the disciples? Us. Educate and overcome him or herself based on the lessons received. What is the lessons? That Jesus teaches. All is in the books. All we need to know, it's based on Jesus. Take him like a model, not the Brad Pitt from the magazine or the Gisele Bündchen in the magazine. You need to take Jesus. Because he knows. And he came just for help us. And he is beside us if we want that. Right? So this is very easy. Right? We can go home now and say, oh, I love myself. Yeah, we can do that. Say that every day. I love myself. And take your notes and work on your notes. Not in my husband's notes. Right? Not in my daughter's notes. No, in my notes. Because his problem, his struggles, my daughter's struggles is not mine. Mine's first is be patient. Be patient. Right? So this is, I need to work. His struggle, I don't know. Stay quiet. I don't know. But each of us has this kind of struggles. Right? So the same Marco said, love your neighbors, but for that, love yourself first. And Jesus bless us. And Tiago, it's your turn. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I have a huge task ahead of me, right? First of all, thank you, Michelle. I was thinking about going to the food truck festival. I'm just going to take pictures now. I'm not going to do anything else there.
No, what I said, don't stop to do that because I said no.
Okay. But I have a huge task because what Marcus and Michelle said probably condense everything that need to be said here. If I could do anything of use, I would probably just try to wrap up what they have said, which has already been said very well.
Socrates already talked about the virtues, and he talked about virtues being knowledge. And then in the question 919, which St. Augustine comments on, the answer for Allan Kardec when he asked, what is the formula for us to achieve the happiness here and to be better with ourselves? And the answer is, know thyself. And Socrates would say, knowledge is happiness. But Aristotle, one of his disciples, also said that knowing about the virtue is not enough. We need to try to put in practice those virtues. Again, we don't need to perfect them, but we need to try. This is not an option. This is a personal, active decision. Right? Like Marx said, it is not simply about a choice. My neighbor by choice not necessarily is my neighbor, but the neighbor that I decide is my neighbor will give me the need that he has. And that will probably set all the tone for what Jesus says. Love your neighbor as yourself. I'm not expecting that my neighbor will do to me everything that I want them to do to me. They will leave their comfort zone in order to help me based on my needs. The reciprocate way is, I will love my neighbor as I would love to be treated, not in the way that I believe he needs to be treated. I will go beyond myself to see the needs of my brothers and sisters, to see the needs of the ones that are in front of me. And then what I will do as an active decision will make me grow. This is dialectic. I will help others helping myself. I will help myself, and this will open my consciousness for the needs of others. And the decision is, I will try. I will make mistakes, but I will try. I will put my hand out there. It will burn. I will try to help. I will not be successful, but I will keep trying. The need has always been there. My neighbor, my brother, my sister has always been there. My active decision to open my eyes in order to see the need, and in order to see that I cannot do this today, but I will try until I'm able to. That is an active decision. Allan Kardec already said that the true Spiritist is the one that makes all the effort to conquest their evil or imperfect inclinations. It is the effort that we make. He never said you will erase your bad inclinations or your imperfect inclinations. We are here, first of all, to know ourselves. More than knowing what we can, is to know what we still cannot. And that is the path that we are going to take. This is a commandment. This is not an option. This is not a suggestion. This is not an advice. This is a commandment from the one who came here, like John said in his gospel. First it was the Verb, and the Verb became flesh, and he became flesh, and he lived among us. Jesus came to give the example. He has lived like us, with the same needs, with the same struggles, feeling the same heat, the same cold, in need for the same things. And he gave the most complete and perfect example for us to follow in terms of love. In terms of love. And that's why Emmanuel will bring to us in his message called the Golden Rule. So in the book, The Way, the Truth, and the Life, the message, the Golden Rule, Emmanuel would say that in all times in humanity, the Golden Rule has been pronounced, has been announced, has been given to us. I was making a little research, and from the book of Leviticus, which is the third book in the Old Testament, it is already there. You will not hate or hold, I will cheat a little bit, okay? You shall not take revenge or bear a grudge against the sons of your own people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. This is in Leviticus 19, in the verse 18. It has been there for a very long time. And Emmanuel will point out to us that in many different times of humanity, many civilizations, many religions, many philosophies, they will all say the same thing, however, with the very human touch of all those messages had. Because perfect was Jesus. Still, the message has been given drop by drop to us for us to learn, for us to incorporate, for us to internalize, until the day that this would make sense for us as spirits in evolution. The Greeks would say, don't do to the neighbor what you don't wish them to receive from you. Or what you don't wish to receive from them. The Persians said the same. Do as you wish others do to you. The Chinese, what you don't wish to yourself, don't wish to others. The Egyptians, the Hebrews, in all different religions, in all different faiths, the message has always been there. I counted more than 15 mentions of the golden rule in the Bible itself. Said in many different ways, with different words, by different messengers. And the interesting point is the one that Emmanuel makes to us in the end of this message, pointing out that the message has been given with more or less exemplification because of the imperfections of the messengers that brought this to us. But with the Master, says Emmanuel, the golden rule is divine news. And again, I put in bold letters, divine news. Every apostle after Jesus brings the same very old commandment saying, I have news for you. Every epistle written to different peoples and to different tribes around the Palestine in that time received a letter from the apostles. I have news for you. Because they knew that for the people, this will always be news. Jesus is telling us, I have news for you. I have news for myself. This is new for us. This is new for us. Holding a grudge. In the Leviticus, they knew that we will be holding a grudge against very little things. When I was sitting down, you both of you use your example. He looked to her, I am nice, right? Right? No. We are still doubtful. We need that point of approval. We are still unsure. That is the proof that we need to work on it. We are unsure. But that's good that we realize, know thyself. We know we are unsure. We are still not confident. So that's the reason why we need to work on love. Again, in the love, Peter, James, Paul, in many of the apostles said in their letters, which kind of love is that? It is the fraternal love. The neighbor is the brother, the sister. We are all sons and daughters of the same Father. The brother and the sister, ultimately, we already know it is the entire humanity. In the Leviticus, it was not possible to be a brother or a sister to anyone else but from your own tribe. From the 12 tribes of Israel, the message was, take care of your own people first. You are not ready to experience the fraternal, universal love as of yet. You will. Practice slowly. Today, Jesus brings a completely different message. First of all, because entirely he put in practice that. He helped women, men, children, rich, poor, doctors of the law, people afflicted with the most difficult, contagious diseases, and there was Jesus without discriminating, without having prejudice, without having any sort of barrier against anyone. He keeps doing that. His plenitude of work, abnegation, love, in the daylight, in the public squares, revealing himself to the eyes of the entire humanity, revealing love to the entire humanity, inviting us and renewing his commandment with us. Love. In the message, the time of the golden rule, from the book Opinião Espírita, he basically develops that idea of the golden rule, and then probably he asks himself, or we ask ourselves, so then when? When can I start? When can I do that? How can I do that? What is that active decision that I need to do? Give me an example. Jesus pointed out the door. Kardec brought the key. Emmanuel somehow gets us by the hand and said, let's cross that door. And then he brings that to us. If Allan Kardec codified the Spiritism, I would say that Emmanuel decodified the Spiritism for us in applying that for our daily lives. And then he talks about that. We don't have the opportunity to feed people, but not to feed people only with food, with good feelings. Feed them with the good ideas. When you talk to someone, try to exchange that food for thought, as some would say. Speak in a way that you want to hear. Everyone likes to be treated well. That's the answer. Change in us what we don't like in others. That is a very crucial message. As spirits still in evolution, we tend to project our imperfections on others. That is a defense mechanism that instead of being not necessarily negative, it is a means for us to see ourselves through others. We can see ourselves almost in a mirror. And if we use that mechanism in our advantage, in the advantage of all our brothers and sisters, I will change in myself what I don't like in anyone. And that will grant that I will see everything and everyone with different eyes. With the eyes of compassion, because I will understand the pain. The pain, not mine, not yours. The pain that belongs to everyone. The suffering that everyone suffers. The struggles that everyone goes through. There will be no difference between your pain and my pain. Your journey and my journey. Your struggle and my struggle. Respect and consider. Help, making no questions. Forgive unconditionally and work correctly. Those are all active verbs. Not expecting that anyone put that to you. It is on us to do all of that. Because that's when we understand that in helping others, we are also helping ourselves. In practicing tolerance, I will become more tolerant. In practicing forgiveness, I will become more forgiving. And understanding that when I don't forgive, I need to go back, make that list, highlight, well, I didn't forgive someone today. What is going on with me? Because this is not for help, or not of help for others either. The time for the golden rule will always be today. If we open our eyes, we will recognize that the need is always there. And before the last slide, just a little reflection. A couple of months ago, we were here just praying and reading the gospel, and I came up with a reflection. When we talk about the projection of who we are in others, especially the imperfections, and then we can see ourselves in the mirror through the eyes of others, there came a reflection to me. The neighbor is me in the mirror. opening our eyes is what we do every day when we wake up. And when we go to the washroom to get ready, to look beautiful to the world and to ourselves, we look to ourselves in the mirror every single day. My neighbor, my brother, and my sister is me in the mirror. Love your neighbor as yourself is one commandment, and one commandment only: love. You and I, in this case, even though we are unique, even though we are different, we are one. This is the universal aspect of Jesus' teachings. I see myself in you. You see yourself in me. In loving you, I'm loving myself. In loving myself, I recognize my need to love you as well. So that's when Jesus said, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you." Jesus is the model of love. He was the best, and he is still, and probably will be, the best example of love that we can take in order to put in practice, to learn, and to act upon. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend. It is like I have loved you, without distinction, without asking what is your last name, without asking where you come from, without asking anything. To love is the greatest commandment. To love is the golden rule. The love is the love that Jesus is calling us to do as an active decision, until the day that this is so natural for us that we just need to wake up every day, and love will be every single brick in the road that we walk. Thank you very much.
Time for questions. Come on. It's not, yeah. All right. Thank you very much for the three of you guys. Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much for the lectures. We still have time for questions. If anyone have any questions or any comment, please. Just one.
Okay, I have one.
Go ahead.
So we have a personal example. Once we are very frustrated with something happening in our life, and somebody else told us, you need to think about Jesus, and most of our friends is here in this world to teach us how to be patient, how to love. And I said, but I'm not Jesus. No, you're not Jesus, but you are her daughter. So we can change, not today, but we can change every day to bring this true love inside us. We're not perfect. We can't tomorrow say, oh, I am Jesus now. No, you're not. For sure you're not. But this phrase, always I bring in my mind. I'm not Jesus, but I'm her daughter. So.
His sister.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody else, my friends here, to correct me.
That's why they have husbands, right?
I'm a God.
The rock in the road.
God daughter, Jesus sister.
Come on. I'm God daughter
Yeah.
and Jesus sister. So we can do it. We can do it.
I didn't correct you because I was thinking about
How to love.
do your best with all you possess. Right?
Okay. Thank you.
I think I had a question there. Yeah. Can you speak a little bit louder, please? That we can.
Now, how can you love yourself internally? Can you give us some maybe tips or examples? What can you do every day to improve this love inside you?
Example. we expect a lot from our friend, for example. We create a lot of expectation around us, not just for friends, around everything. And when we don't have back what we expect, we suffer. How we can work on that? Just thinking about why I need to receive this. Sometimes it's called punishment for us. It's not. It's learn, right? So work inside you. I need, help me. It's because of my English. It's crazy to explain fast.
I would say that first you have to accept the fact that you are imperfect, right? So when you make mistake, because you're gonna do all the time, we do all the time, and then you have to forgive yourself first, right? And say, okay, oh my God, I did it again, right? Let me try one more time, put more effort on it, and I'm gonna try again, and maybe this time I'll do right. Right, and I guess this for me is where I might go every day, to be a little bit better today what I did yesterday. Yes.
Yeah. Because Santo Agostinho told to us to do our list, because the same, we need to improve ourselves. We need to love ourselves. Do what you really, your struggle, and say, no, I can do it.
Yeah, and I would add it is doing to ourselves what we would like to others to do to us, right? Or what we would like to do with others. Like forgiving yourself, being indulgent to yourself, everything that we tell, do to others, do to yourself as well. That's loving yourself, right?
Without expectations.
Yeah.
So
And when we say when Mark said accept yourself, accept your imperfections. The example that I can give is sometimes I am walking and someone tells me something that I don't like. I go to a meeting. I get angry at someone. I go to a meeting and the meeting is over and I am very mad. First of all, instead of afterwards feeling bad because I am mad, it's to try to understand why am I feeling mad? Why what this person told me is making me mad. Why am I angry with this person? Sometimes this person is giving a very important advice for me at work. And because I am not performing very well, I get mad with the person. Because they are pointing to me something that I don't want to see myself. That I am not performing very well. So then if I go home, if I reflect, I let go a little bit of this feeling, not try to erase completely, but accept, and say, what can I do with this feeling? And then use that and say, tomorrow what I'm going to do, not to prove anything to anyone. I will probably try to perform better, not because I need to prove that I'm better to anyone else, because probably it will save me upsetment first of all. So then I will perform better. When you end up performing better, you realize that you just learned something new. And when you learn something new, you don't need to tell even anyone. You're just feeling better. Oh my gosh, I learned something here. So just take that with you. Because tomorrow there will be an opportunity for you to use that skill that you just learned today. Life will always give us the opportunity to solidify that learning on us. And if something is coming back to you repetitively,
because you didn't learn yet.
Because you didn't learn yet, for sure. That's the biggest point where you need to be very happy and give gratitude for those messages that are being given to you, because that's the best sign to which road we need to go, to which kind of imperfection we need to fix in ourselves. Because tomorrow when you fix that, you will like yourself a little more, and then tomorrow you're gonna like yourself a little more, and then it goes.
I think there's another question there, right?
Yes, just would like to mention that for me to love myself is to respect my limits.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To respect where when you need to cry, to respect when you need to rest, to respect when you need a break. All this is to love you, right? To go over what your body asks or your spirit asks means that you're not loving you. Even when you are doing things to others to help and you are going forgetting your problems, forgetting yourself, you're not doing right.
Yeah.
It's what I believe, right? You need to respect yourself. Not do because the other people are looking, right?
Exactly.
What the society is forcing us to do sometimes. But do yourself and see that you have limits and understand that you're still learning.
Thank you. Yeah, very
And
much.
always make mistakes.
That's right.
Another thing I would like to mention is about what
Marco,
said. When you said that about the neighbor, something funny happened. No, not really funny. When I was driving here, I took the wrong street and then I stopped in a traffic light and my windows was all open. And you know this area has like a little, let's say, it's not nice to say, but weird people. So, and then I had a guy come to my window, grab my window like this and say, change. And his face was something that, like you said, we don't accept, we don't want to close, it doesn't smell well, it's not really beautiful. And then I screamed like, close my window, and I saw his hands going up, so he's like, oh my God, it's like a horror movie. Then I was thinking, coming here, I was thinking, oh my God, we are so imperfect, right?
So those are the lessons that we have every single day when everything and everyone that is not like us face us. It is to show that in fact it is closer than we think.
Yeah,
And we are much more similar inside, and many times those folks that are around us, those brothers and sisters, they might be in the same level of evolution, even more than us, because when we see externally, we forget when the Apostle John says, if you don't love, you don't see God, because God is love, and that love you don't see with the eyes of the flesh, that love you see with the eyes of the Spirit.
Excellent. All right, so I want to thank you guys again, and let's get prepared for the passes. And we just got it to the end. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.